Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking photography and how I particularly edit my photos. Follow along and we'll go from this to this in just a few minutes. Alright, so first off, this is our base photo and this is where we're trying to get to. So first things first, I like the framing on this. I'm not going to change the cropping at all. I like this photo. I think we did a good job editing, bringing the colors out. I like my photos a little bit moody. It's just my preference. This is another edited photo I shot from that day. It's a little more grainy. I'm still working on it, but one of my favorite shots for sure. So let's get started. First things first, we're gonna hit it with one of our presets. I have a cousin in Philly, in New Jersey area, whose presets these are. If you like it, go check it out. I'm not gonna hit it with the super dark one. It's really grainy as it is, but I do like some grain because I like the moodiness it gives me. All right, I'll add that. Okay, we can go ahead and close our presets. From here, I like to immediately start masking. Okay, yeah, I know what I like, so I'm gonna go ahead and select this sky. It's looking a little gray. Before we mask, let me just bump the exposure a little bit. Okay, we're not clipping on either end, as you see the graph right here. So yeah, we'll go into masking. Grab ourselves a linear gradient. And we're going to bring that linear gradient right across the bottom here. Drop the exposure. Okay. So the shadow here is going to give a leading eye into what is the center of the focus, which is the gentleman here. As you can see on the other photo, on the finished one, we have multiple masks, and we're going to go through each one of these right about now. All right. So back to the photo. We went through we went through our linear gradient. Now we got to grab this sky. Okay, sky. We need definition in that sky. Let's bring that sky down. See that? Very nice. Now, what I like personally is, yes, the sky is part of the picture, but I like the sky to be a little bit cooler, on the cooler side, because I like my center of focus, or my subject, to be more warm as we talk about moody tones. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate and invert this mask so that the mask is on the rest of the focus that the subject that I like. But you remember, I selected the sky and I turned down the temperature. That way, when I bring up the warmness of everything else, I still have manual control of what the sky is doing. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and bump the temperature up over here. All right, let's take a look at our reference. My reference is right here. And let's look at our mask and what we did. All right, mask 3 was inverted. Did I even touch this mask on here? I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, no, it's not looking like I touched much on there. But yeah, I dropped the mask on that one. All right, so anyway, back to where we are now. We are going to select our subject, which is the gentleman here. All right, so we have him selected, and we're going to do an invert on him as well. That way we can keep the background a little darker from him, a little separate from him, and then we'll select him and brighten him up a bunch. Okay, see, we're already came from this to this, this to this, and we're moving right along to get here. This is where we want to be. All right, now let's look at some of the values that we used on our initial. Okay, say, let's check out the character here. We have him selected. We have his mask selected. We took the exposure up. We took the contrast up. Highlights down. Shadows bumped just a little bit. Okay. Exposure up. Oh, wrong one. Wrong mask. Exposure up. Contrast up. highlights down, shadows bumped just a little bit. Contrast up. Oops, sorry. Always gotta select it. Contrast up, highlights down, shadows boosted just a little bit. All right. Now you may be asking me, hey man, this is looking a little bit grainy, and I'm telling you, man, Lightroom doesn't miss. Lightroom doesn't miss. I don't know. AI is doing its thing right now, and I'm telling you, watch this. Let's go back to our reference photo here. See what I did with the graph. Nice S curve here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump this up here, and that's going to give me a little bit more dramatization that I like to call it. So we're headed down the page right now, and we get to this button right here, denoise. Now this denoise is produced by AI, and it works wonders. So the reason why my photo has a lot of noise, it was taken a little bit underexposed to be able to pull some of that dynamic range out of there. However, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not always a bad thing to shoot anything underexposed, but also you have to take into account the graininess also could come from your preset. So my graininess came from my preset, and I like a little bit of the graininess, but I'm going to use the AI, but I'm going to turn it down a bit. So let's go ahead and take it from the 50 down to the 34. Okay, let's keep a little bit of graininess in there. Take it down to about 25. Like it. Go ahead and hit generate. As you can see, it's loading up here in the corner. So we're making good progress. We're getting good progress. Go ahead and check out our reference, see where we're working with. Exposure, contrast, highlights down, okay? Shadows up, whites up, blacks up, right? Drop this down a little bit. Shadows up, whites up, blacks up, okay? A little bit more, as you can see, looking a little more like our reference image here. Now, this reference has multiple masks, like I said from before. Let's work with these masks and see what we can come up with, okay? Okay, drop my mask a little bit on this side right here. Okay. All right, you don't want anything to be all muddied up. Go ahead and make this a little bit brighter. Okay, make it a little bit brighter, but I'm gonna also bump the temperature up just a little bit. Okay, too warm, too warm. Bring it back down. Right about there, right about there. Okay, now we're gonna add just a tad bit of saturation to the entire photo. Okay, I like that blue, but I don't want anything to be oversaturated, so you better watch what you're doing out there. Okay, you don't want him looking all orange, so then you're gonna have to go here to your color mixer, drop down the saturation a little bit on your orange. Okay, now I personally like my backgrounds a little bit darker, a little bit moodier. We're pretty close. He's still a little brighter here, a little darker on the background. So let's pump that up. Let's pull that down. Okay. We'll bump him up. Oh, he's up here. Drop this down a little more. Then we're gonna bump him up. Right? Bump. Bump, bump, bump. Yeah, we're a little old. We remember that song. Okay. We don't want him looking too crazily off the background. That's not what we want, okay? Sometimes you gotta come in and you see I am fringing a little bit here. So you can turn him down a little bit. Back down a little bit. It hides it a little bit more. All right. You don't want him popping all crazy off the background too much. I'm gonna drop some blacks a little bit. Okay. I'm still a little bit overall darker. So we'll come back to our exposure. We'll bump him up a little bit, just a little. Just a little, but we're going to take our highlights way down a little more. Okay. And we're going to make we're going to go touch up our sky. Where is our sky? Right here. Keep it a little bit of blue. And a little bit dark. A little moodiness to this photo. But I feel like the overall photo's still a bit high. I'm going to take it down to about there. Okay. Okay. A little bit there. And we're going to bump our temperature up on the overall photo. Go back to our sky. Take our sky up a little. So, okay. You guys see what's happening? This one's still a little bit darker in the background. And the character is still a little bit brighter. But I'm kind of happy where we are. But I am going to do the extra mask that's here, which is, you add it for this little drop down arrow, hit the plus, go ahead and hit the linear gradient. Okay. And you're going to drop it down a little bit more. Okay. Now you see it barely changes. However, this is still a little brighter. Okay. And that background is a little bit too dark. So I'm going to bump that background up a little bit. Still a little bit too dark. Bump it up. And there you go. I mean, you can bump the character up just a little more so it matches. But as you can see, we have to click them first. Bump it up, bump them up. Okay. He's still a little brighter on this one than he is on this one, but not much changes in the photo, as you can tell. We went a little bit darker on this background. And if you want to go that route, go ahead and feel free to click this little middle button here. Change the direction a little bit of your gradient. However, I like to just stretch that thing across. Okay, stretch it across, drop it down, and keep the center of the focus on who the center of the focus is, the bike rider here. So that's a quick little tutorial on how to go from quickly this to this. Okay, I mean, you can use this magazine spread, you can use this on your blog, you can use this for whatever it is that you're looking to use this photo for your portfolio. I mean, it looks good to me. This is my style of shooting when I'm at the track, having a track day with my brother that day, or maybe my sons. And I mean, they're virtually almost identical, each of these photos. I think he's still a little brighter on this one, but I kind of like this one a little more. It's not so orangey, and this one's a little more orangey, but this one's still plenty moody, plenty dark. I like it. It gives that grittiness that you see when you get to the track. So if you like this, follow, like, share, subscribe, and I'll be posting more walkthroughs like this for many of my other photos and projects. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.